Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I never thought that I would enjoy flying in the tropics as much, but I find myself enjoying it more and more. Anyways, that was very cheesy, but my wife and I thought it was pretty funny, so come fly with me on a quick flight in the fabulous Cowansim R22 around Cli4D Designs' Bora Bora Improvement Project that really takes the scenery and the attention to detail of what Microsoft has done and Asobo have done in the Bora Bora area to the next level. With the improvement project, Cli4D Designs has even stated that his intention was not to make everything exact and true to life, but just bring the scenery up to a more usable level of detail for close-up observation, and just modeling that is easy to use and still gets great frame rates. So like I said, it may not be exact to what's really there in real life, but I've never been there, so I can't tell. And I think it looks phenomenal, and everything looks great up close. It is a great place to fly helicopters. It really is kind of a playground of landing spots and detailed areas to explore. There are several landing pads and docks added throughout the scenery, and lots of points of interest and additional helipad starting points that you can spawn to. Now, the huts and bungalows out on the water and the water masking were actually added by Microsoft and Asobo for World Update 13 Oceania, but there were still a few of them missing that you could see in the satellite imagery, and they've just generally been cleaned up. So no, there's not any missing huts or anywhere where you can see them in the satellite imagery where there is not a 3D model. So it's really been cleaned up. Performance has been really good on my system. I'm running a 3080 Ti with a i9 12900K on a Z690 motherboard, and I think I have 64 gigabytes of RAM installed. It's doing very well on my system. The first release of this product, I did have a little bit of slowdown, a couple stutters here and there of flying helicopters, but Cli4D Designs made some improvements, and I have not had any issues since the first update of the software, or the add-on. It's running really well on my system, and it makes it so that it's stable to fly with helicopters, because if you get any slowdown or stutters with helicopters, it makes them very difficult to fly, but I don't run into any of those issues with this scenery now. It's also important to note that I'm flying in VR. The view on the left was actually recorded from the VR mirror for the Vario Aero, and I used NVIDIA Shadowplay to record it, so nothing crazy, but it performs really well in VR as well as in 2D. I cannot say enough good things about the Cowansim R22. It really pushes the flight model that is available, the native flight model that's available in Microsoft Flight Simulator, to the furthest extent possible right now. It uses every bit of it, and it flies, in my experience and my opinion, very close to the real thing. I do have a lot of time in the R22, and I love this add-on. The team really did a great job here on the water masking. There's some areas that you fly over and they just look so real. It really looks amazing. One of the areas that was disappointing though is the moving boats in the satellite imagery. You can see the wake in the satellite imagery, and you used to be able to fly down and there would just be a flat texture there where there was obviously a boat in the satellite image. But that's one of the things that Cli4D's update has done to fix some of those errors or some of those problems, is he's put actual 3D models of boats anywhere that there was a boat on the satellite image. So if you do go fly down to any of those boats, it won't just be a immersion breaking flat satellite image. There'll actually be a 3D model of the boat there. Now it does still kind of break it a little bit because it's not moving, and you can tell that the wake is from the satellite image, but it's still a step above from where it was. Even though some of the areas on the cliffside may not be exact and true to life, what has been updated or improved upon is by changing those models, there's now flat areas or landing spots that you can go to with smaller helicopters. It adds a little bit of a challenge to flying around the area, and the wind currents are challenging dealing with some of those areas as a pinnacle approach. Some of the details for Cli4D Designs you won't notice from above 1,000 feet, but when you get down closer to them, you'll start to see things like construction vehicles in areas that obviously are construction sites on the satellite imagery. It's the little things that make the scenery such a great deal. Even for such a small area and a small island, you can spend a lot of time looking for the little details that were added. Like every dock that has been implemented that was on the satellite imagery has been touched upon. So you can go get closer to those docks, and most of them you can land on. of the things I probably don't mention enough about Cowansim's R22 is the sound design. It's really well done, and it sounds very much like being in the real thing, like the blade slap that you hear when you pitch the disc back. I really need to work on improving my last 5 feet during approaches. I tend to get impatient because it's hard to gauge how far you are from the ground in simulators, even in VR. So I tend to rush a little bit and slam the helicopter down sooner than I should, and you really need to fly it all the way down. Even though this was one of the areas that was improved greatly when they did World Update 13 for Oceania, you could still fly around and you would find little details that you would get closer to, and it would just be a little disappointing. This isn't a photogrammetry scenery area, it's autogen, so it's satellite imagery with autogen buildings on top and trees on top, and it looks really good, but the additional improvements that Cli4D's Designs has put on top of it just takes out all of those areas where you fly closer to and you have disappointment. It really does, like 99% of the area, you can fly right down to it and you're going to be happy with the details and pretty much keep the immersion the whole time. Currently this is only available, the improvement project from Cli4D Designs is only available on PC. I know that he's still working with Microsoft and Asobo to add it to the marketplace, but currently, as of the time of making this video, it's not available for Xbox. This flight around this area, it's really one of the pinnacles of where we are with flight sim right now, and what it really means, what they've done with the world, the twin idea and concept. It's not likely that I will ever get a chance to fly an R22 around Bora Bora, and just the smile it puts on my face to be able to do this in VR and experience something that brings you so close to realism that you probably won't get a chance to do in real life. It's pretty cool. At least it's out of the realm of possibility until I win the lottery and get a private yacht that I can land on like I do here in the end of this video. So, or unless everybody wants to make donations, that would be fine too. The additional wildlife in the improvement project is pretty cool as well. It's kind of fun flying through the flamingos, but I wish they acted a little more realistically. Maybe that's something that can be worked on for the next version of Microsoft Flight Simulator. But in helicopters, you don't worry about bird strikes as much, because if you just slow down a little bit, the birds actually will get out of your way, they're scared, so they'll move. So if you give them time to get out of your way, they will. It's not exactly the same as it is in airplanes, where they're harder to avoid because you're usually going much faster. One of my favorite parts of the improvement are all the rock formations along the coastline. It's so much better than just having the blurry satellite images. It really does make it much more realistic and a much more enjoyable place to fly. The simulation of ground effect with the R22 is done really well. As you approach landing and you go to touch down and set the skids down, ground effect tends to push you back a little bit, and you actually get a little squirrely as you have to push the collective down when ground effect kind of cushions you, and you tend to over control until you learn that it's coming. And you can even see that here in the landing that I just did. Thanks for watching, be safe, be kind, and I'll see you in the next video.